Welcome back. We continue to bring you more conversations around mental health, and September is recognized as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness about suicide, remembering those affected, promoting hope, and connecting people to treatment and prevention resources. It serves to highlight suicide as a major public health issue, support open conversations about mental health, and encourage early intervention. Now, a key part of this month is educating people on recognizing warning signs and offering support to those at risk. Joining us now is psychologist Ellen Nghikembwa, who joins us in studio to talk to us about this. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, John.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Most of my morning was about talking about topics of mental health and suicide and how much of a problem it is actually. Why is September dedicated as a National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month?
Yeah, but now of course we do not only talk about suicide during September. We talk about suicide all year long, but September is chosen specifically to put a highlight on suicide and suicide prevention so that we can spread awareness and mainly to reduce the stigma. If you look at September, we are 3 months close to the end of the year, and a lot of us are in a mode where we are evaluating our whole year. Beginning of the year, we all set goals and hopes and dreams for what we want to achieve during the year. So around this time, a lot of people are reflecting how their year went, whether financially, whether relationship goals, whether family goals, and just our goals generally in life. And this is the month, September, October, and any month after September, this is the month where we see a lot of people really committing suicide. So I believe it was chosen because of that, so that we can specifically talk about suicide in the months that is most at peak. And that way, obviously, we reduce a lot of deaths.
How much of a worry is this? We've now seen or learned that the statistics are quite high. Close to 130 suicide cases just from the month of March, and 108 of them being men. How much of an issue really is it that we are facing as a country, and what really needs to be done? I was speaking to someone here earlier, and they said that it's not enough to have to do these campaigns and all other events that we're doing. How much of it is an issue, and what more do you believe can be done?
We are really in a crisis mode, and over the past few years we have seen the suicide rates are really skyrocketing. And I have recently seen, even last year I believe, there was an article in the NAMIBIA that Namibia is number one number one suicide rate in Africa, and that is alarming for such a small country. So really we are in a period where we are supposed to raise awareness and engage the people, and really to find out, go to the very bottom root of the problem and really find out what is the problem, how best can we help our people, because it's really alarming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we talk about some of the warning signs, especially for your loved one or anyone in the family, what are some of the warning signs that you can actually look out for that are possibly close to suicide?
I think the number one that we all obviously can immediately identify is when someone is talking about suicide. And there's this belief that if somebody talks about suicide, they're not going to do it, which has in many cases, it was proven to not be true. It's actually a myth. When somebody talks about suicide, take action. Listen to them, pay attention to them. Some warning signs that we can also look out for is when somebody starts to drink excessively, when they start to do drugs excessively, or somebody who was not drinking at all, then they start to drink a lot. There's something happening. Changes in appetite, changes in mood, maybe they become more moody, changes in behavior, they isolate themselves, they are withdrawing themselves, or you notice that someone, you know someone is going through something, check up on them, and basically you just ask, I noticed that I know you're going through A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
Are you perhaps thinking about suicide? Has that thought ever come across your mind? And in that way, you open up that conversation. And when you talk about suicide, it already sort of puts a highlight on shame, because people don't talk about suicide because they are feeling ashamed of talking about it. Absolutely. So there's quite a lot of symptoms that we can look out for. And sometimes we may not see the symptoms because they're not quite obvious. But I mean, you know, the people that are around you, people that perhaps at the office, in your home, you might pick up that there's a change here. Maybe someone is just, like I said, moody all of a sudden. They are talking about death. They are researching about death. They are giving away their most prized possessions. They are drawing up their will. So these are things that we need to look out for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned something about, you know, being open and obviously having these conversations about mental health in families and communities as part of the suicide prevention. How important really is this for us to allow one another to be open and also express ourselves about the issues that we are having?
It's very important because, like I said earlier, talking about suicide reduces the stigma, and it reduces the shame that is mostly associated with suicide. So that already opens up a door or a gate to talk about things that we are most uncomfortable with. And I truly believe most people are also really ready to assist. Yes, some people are not very receptive of these kinds of conversations, but you'll be surprised when you open up to someone. They will actually be able to help you, and they will actually not pass out judgment as we convince ourselves. And sometimes it's, yes, there are people who are not ready to talk about suicide. There are people who are not very receptive of just that topic of suicide or mental health in general. But I truly believe that there are also some people that if you open up to them, they will not judge you, and they will really be able to help you. Many people actually struggle in silence, you know. So what advice do you have for someone who might be experiencing suicidal thoughts, but is also afraid or unsure of seeking help? Can you say that again?
You know, many times people actually suffer in silence. So what can you tell to someone who's actually experiencing that right now on how they can actually break that stigma, to find courage, or just to make sure that they actually seek help? Because a lot of people really are afraid of seeking help or talking to someone about what it is that they're going through.
I think the reason why people keep silent about this kind of issues is really the fear and the shame that is associated with people will know my problems, or people might judge me, or I need to appear a certain way. I need to seem like I'm a strong person. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be weak. But the thing is, I truly believe there is beauty in vulnerability. Because if you are keeping silent and you're not talking about deep things that are really troubling you and hurting you, what you're saying to yourself is that you don't need help. But you cannot get help if you're not allowing yourself to be vulnerable, if you're not allowing yourself to be weak so that you can get help. A strong man or a strong person does not need help. That's a fact. So if basically what you're saying is that I'm strong, so I don't need help. Everybody in this world, at some point in their lives, and this is research based, at some point in their life, they will have a breakdown. You will have some form of symptoms of depression or anxiety or whatever mental health. Everyone, at some point in our lives, you have to go through these things. So if there's someone out there who is feeling like that right now, you're not alone. It's not something that is only specific to you, that person. It's a common thing, and it's really normal. For me, I feel it's normal to go through some of these challenges that we are experiencing, because that shows our humanity. There is no one who goes through life perfectly with no struggle. Everybody goes through that. It's not just unique to that person. So I would advise that person to truly reach out and allow their vulnerability to show, and allow themselves to access that weakness, because it is through vulnerability, it is through our weaknesses that we grow. If we work on those weaknesses, we grow. But if we are constantly suppressing our vulnerabilities and our weaknesses, we never give them an opportunity to grow. We are not strengthening that muscle. It's a muscle that it's like going to the gym and you just focus on your arms. If you don't focus on your legs, you're not gonna get strength in your legs. It's not gonna. It's gonna be the same.
That's right.
So you'll get more strength in your upper in your upper limbs. So if you allow yourself to be vulnerable and work on those weaknesses, you'll be surprised how much they can actually strengthen if you just allow yourself to be a human being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are so many myths and stigmas around suicide and mental health as well. What are some of them, if you can just share a few, and how can we actually get around them?
I think the first one I had already mentioned. People believe that if somebody talks about about committing suicide, no, they're not going to do it. No, they will do it. You know, or people often say that it's attention seeking. They are just looking for attention, so they will not do it. Yes, people will actually do it. Talking about even if they talk about suicide consistently. And I truly believe, even let's say hypothetically speaking, they are looking for attention or whatever. I mean, you'd rather prevent than wait for somebody who is now labeled as an attention seeker, and the next day you end up hearing that they actually committed suicide. So you'd rather take action 100 times, even if they are just taking, let's say now, looking for attention. And there's also, this one I also hear a lot. If somebody is really determined to commit suicide, they will do it, and there's nothing that anybody can do. Yes, there is something that can be done. You can really be determined, but if you interject at the right time, you can save a life. Yes, and everyone, I think, who attempts suicide or who has thoughts of suicide, everybody is determined to die, because they are trying to not go through what they are going through now. So they are determined.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we cannot base that on if somebody is determined, there's nothing you can do to help them, they will do it. But yeah.
Your last message of hope for those that are affected by suicide, whether directly or indirectly, and perhaps just to share what resources or helplines you can recommend for viewers watching now to actually find support for when experiencing this kind of issues.
My advice would be there's really support. Reach out to somebody. I know people have had probably bad experiences when they reach out, but I also truly believe there are people who are ready to assist. Not everyone will laugh at you. Not everyone will judge you. And I mean, if you go to the right people, you'll get help. But if you're going to someone who already they might not take your thoughts seriously, then you should probably not go to those people. I think the previous guest that was on here spoke about Lifeline Childline, that you can call from anywhere that you are. That is 116 or 108. If you don't have a cell phone, you can go to your nearest clinic, and you engage the nurses, and they'll be able to refer you to a psychologist or to a social worker or to a counselor, to someone that you can speak to. Ministry of Health, we can also approach there. In Windhoek Central Hospital, at the mental health facility, you can go there and you can request to see a psychologist, and you'll get the help that you need. If you are in the remote areas where there are no psychologists, you can go to the district hospitals, I believe, and I'm speaking under correction, I believe the government has social workers at every district hospital. If you have a cell phone, simply go on Google, psychologist in Namibia. if you don't want to go to the to the government facility, psychologists in Namibia, they'll give you a list that you can get, and you can call those people and you say, like, I need to speak to a psychologist. When can I come in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nghikembwa, for being here, for sharing this very, very important topic to us. Of course, hope to speak to you again. This is a very, very big topic that we can dissect. Thank you so much. Of course, wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.